right, let me talk to you about the 9.9 here and the Garmin Reactor 40. First of all, you know, you have to make a decision whether you want to go with the tiller version or whether you want to go with the one that has the rod between the engine. There's the big engine here, you have the rod coming between the two of them. The big engine moves, the small engine moves. The problem with that is you're going to lose your tiller control here. To me, the tiller control was a better option because, you know, if this thing ever fails or whatever, you know, we can potsy home with this guy here. But the issue that I had here, number one, was when you put it on the transom here, the distance between the back splash guard here, whatever you want to call it, and the transom here was too tight. So basically when it would go up like this, it would hit back there. So what I had to do is I had to put on a, right now it's good, but what I had to do is put on a jack plate. And of course the decision there is how far back do you go? So we figured about 8 inches was the way to go. Very difficult to put on this engine without an engine lifter. If you have a buddy or a mechanic that has an engine lifter, borrow it from him because you have to get this pretty precision. In other words, the distance between here and here, you don't want anything hitting. So when you finish, this is going to work completely independent of the main motor here. And you know, your throttle control will be controlled by your reactor, or is it the GH50 that's up there in the front. So that was the first issue that we had trying to install this. But eventually, you know, I'll leave a link for the particular jack plate that we used here. The problem again that we had there was the thickness on the back here. This is a Valance jack plate here. Now they sell, you know, 1-inch plates that go on the back of the jack plate. We needed 2.5 inches. The problem with that was that they were too short. So in other words, to get this on securely, you really had to, I didn't want to get into lag bolts. Lag bolts, like, you know, you drill them too tight, you know, they'll snap. Drill them too loose, your engine falls off. So I preferred to get it actually through bolted. So what I ended up doing was getting actually, I tried to price actually starboard at 1 inch. They wanted an arm, a leg and a limb for it. So what I ended up doing actually was getting a chef's board. I think it's called a HDP, whatever you want to call it, you can figure it out. But they were big enough and long enough, and that way, bingo, I could through bolt the bottom, and obviously I could through bolt the top. And now this thing is on pretty strong. But be careful when you're ripping that, because, you know, it overheats and binds up. But take a couple of passes with it and you'll be fine with it. But once I put that on, I have 2 1-inch here and I have 1 1/2 inch, and this thing is as strong as an ox. Another little problem we have was the bolts here in the front. Now the thumb screws won't work in there because you don't have room to turn them. So I'll leave you a link actually for the 2 here. I can't remember the millimeter that they were, but they were pretty precise. And these ones were 316, or is it 316 or 304? It's the top end stainless steel, and I got them from Bolt Depot. And you know, it was a puzzle trying to figure out, couldn't figure it out even from Mercury. I couldn't find out the exact millimeter on it, but eventually, you know, I got them, and now this thing is on pretty strong here. In my scenario here, I knew kind of down the road that I was going to put the zip wakes on here, which I have on. I'll do a separate video on that. Still a trial and error on that one, but that's another day's work. But all in all, with the setback here, I have room for the zip wakes, I have room for this, and then this thing operates totally independent. And again, it's on its early days yet. We've been fishing Raritan Bay, but there's so many boats there, it's just very hard to get a course to go right through the fish. You'll be bashing into everybody. But I'll leave you some pictures that, again, when you're connecting up the throttle control here, they have several different kits that they use. We eventually figured it out. When we started this up, we had a problem that the throttle control would not hook up with the Garmin up there. And we called Garmin, 2 hours on with Garmin, they said they'd send me another one, but what happened then afterwards, between updates or whatever happened, the thing decided to work all of its own. So now it's fully operational. We haven't used it a whole lot. I'll let you know how we get on with it, but so far so good. It's keeping that course, and I'm happy with it. All right, I'll see you in the next one.